What's going on YouTube? Phil here with BLP3 Motors. We are back at it again with my boy Chad. And in today's video, this is a video that I kind of was a little hesitant on making because I am not endorsing like racing, but if you're gonna race, this is the information that you want to have. And so how do you hook on like a Mustang almost every time on the streets for beginners? So this is a beginner's course, so if you're interested in wanting to race your Mustang from a dig, this video is for you guys. So without further ado, Chad, take the wheel, man.
All right, so a lot of people that like to get out on the weekends, or just, you're sitting next to a stoplight on somebody or something like that, there's definitely things that can make you more prone to go A to B every time, if you will. Testing, that's going to be one of the biggest things that you can do. Getting used to your car. You go out and you find yourself a nice back road that's not a high traffic area, of course. Testing the car, see what the car does, what it likes, and then try to be consistent with yourself and make sure you don't let others, other things around you get your adrenaline pumping too much, and maybe you do something you shouldn't have done. As far as leaving too high of RPMs that might blow the tires loose or something like that.
So let's say I buy a brand new sports car and I'm at a complete stop.
Yep.
I have my hands on the wheel. I just gun it and go. Is that how it works, or is there a little more?
No, there's a little bit more to it.
Is there a science?
Yeah, there's a little bit more to it. It just depends on as far as how much of this racing that you really want to do. Maybe there's a lot of people that just want to take off from a dig from a stoplight next to a guy. In that case, there's really not a lot that goes into it. Even leave your traction control on.
Yeah.
But as far as actually dig racing on on the street, which we don't condone, by the way. So there's a lot of things that really help being consistent and go A to B every time on the street while dig racing. And we got a few things here we can address that help that be understood.
Yeah, and not help you kill people in the crowds.
Yeah, we're driving Mustangs, so we're already fighting ourselves trying to keep it on the road. So one thing that really helps out is having a good tire.
Tires.
Yeah, so you don't want to go out there and race somebody on the street tires if possible. You want to go out on a tire that works best for the street.
Are we talking like those, I've seen cars that have those fatty tires that look like big chocolate donuts.
Yeah, so there's some tire options out there. What I've found works best, and what a lot of people are using on the street, is what they call slicks.
Slicks.
You have a couple options. You have Hoosier, M&H. You have Mickey Thompson's. Personally, for me, I would highly recommend a Hoosier tire for the street.
So what is a slick?
So a slick is a softer compound tire.
Okay.
It doesn't have any tread. Now there are options to purchase a DOT approved slick, which is DOT legal. You can drive on the street legally.
Wait, so it has no tread?
Correct. So a full drag slick, no tread.
Huh.
It's completely smooth all across. You have depth checking holes, but as far as tread lines, there's no water tread lines.
So if I have a ball tire, are they slicks?
If you're broken up.
Okay, so you have a slick, and that's gonna help you on the streets.
Right.
Now, is there a certain size of a slick, or what matters?
For if you're going off of a 2011 to 2011 to 14 Mustang, and you have a solid axle, those cars can fit a 15-inch wheel without any conversions. I would recommend a 15-inch slick.
So you want to go smaller with the wheel and bigger on the tires?
Generally the idea.
Okay.
Yep.
So no one does 20s and then have bigger tires.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. When you start doing that, you start losing the softness and the design of the sidewall of the slick. Slick is actually designed to grab as much as possible, so the sidewall actually is softer than a regular. We call those thin wheels.
Thin wheels.
Yeah.
Single tangent here, guys. I gotta ask him this. So why do the manufacturers give these sports cars 19 and 20-inch rims and these really baby tires that really can't handle the power that they're obviously giving you with the car? Why don't they give you a smaller wheel with a bigger tire?
A lot of times, of course there is design ideas behind that for sure. And a lot of times it's about what's in style. And the biggest thing, it's like a big new fad right now. Everyone's getting 19s or 20s or 22s on their brand new car. And
mine
that's the production line. Those wheels, they're designed so big on those cars, and they're designed around that size, and they handle really well with those.
Okay, so it's a handling aspect?
There is some handling aspect in there.
Okay.
And a lot of it is for the, the curb appeal. Definitely, the curb appeal is for sure. A lot of people like the 19s, 20s, and 22s, for sure. Not my cup of tea, but for some there is.
All right, so number one on our list of hooking was tires.
Yep.
So what would be the next thing that you probably want to think about?
The next step would go to traction compound.
What's that?
Traction compound is a material that's made to pour down on the street in front of your tire. You'll roll the tire into that compound and do your burnout in that compound. And what that does is it breaks down the rubber of the tire and helps transfer that rubber to the street.
Interesting.
And that is when you get yourself a groove.
So that's why it always looks like it's wet.
Correct. When you see a puddle right before a burnout, you know that someone poured something down, done a burnout in that puddle, and carried it down.
Interesting.
And what that does is it breaks the tire down to put rubber down on the road, and it also is a very sticky type of residue. So it's a lot of people refer to it as a glue.
A glue.
So it really does help. If you take off from a dig in that material, of course it's going to help. You're going to have better traction in that type of material versus dusty road.
Is that something that's easily accessible, like you can get from like AutoZone or?
So there's several here in Oklahoma. There's different companies. You have Black Magic Compound. You have the Street Cream. You have Pent Juice. There's Ultra Blue. There's quite a few of those. And Skinny Sauce, I believe, is in Texas. And there's definitely readily available. You can order online. If you're here local to Oklahoma, there's several places that keep all of that stuff in stock.
Okay, so we've got tires, and we've got, you said the compound?
Traction compound.
Traction compound. What would be next on our list?
I would say for sure, if at all possible, if you're going out to dig race somebody on the street, if you could have at least one helper, that would be phenomenal. And that helper could do something that's really important. One, back you back into that groove that you just done your burnout in.
Okay, in the compound.
In the compound.
Burnout back into the groove.
They can help hold the car still so your car doesn't slide off to one side or the other.
Okay.
That way it makes as straight as possible burnout. And having that extra person there can also stop you from going back too far into that compound, because you don't want to roll too far back into the puddle you just poured on the ground, because it'll be wet. You don't want that.
Right.
And then as far as bringing you up to the starting line, that person can be there to, if you want to be, a foot from the line or 6 inches from the line, that person can, reel you into that, whatever you want to do, whether you want 6 inches or a foot.
Huh.
In Mexico activities, when you have another person there to help watch for other extructives coming down the roads or so forth, whether it be a dog or another vehicle coming down the road, it's always a good idea to have someone there. And of course, you never know, things break, and it's always good to have someone help push yourself off the road. So that's definitely would be another one for sure.
Okay. All right, so now we've got our buddy who's going to be helping us get back into the groove. So what would be what would be another thing?
Another thing that would be bolted onto the car to help you have better traction, help the weight transfer of the car and stuff, and that goes a little bit more in depth. But having some aftermarket suspension parts, shocks, springs, really help these cars. The manufacturers do a great job with what they're giving us from the factory, but there's definitely an aftermarket side of things. Shocks and springs are definitely beneficial to how the weight transfers on the car, and it helps transition weight faster from the front to the back and keep that weight on there. More weight to the rear usually in our type of cars definitely helps out on the street.
Huh. Okay, so that's pretty much the suspension element?
Yep, suspension elements. Suspension is key with that.
So now I guess, how do you deal with like the racing jitters or nerves?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've seen some of those guys kind of like wink at each other or rev their engine or.
There for sure is some mind games played into the whole Mexico activity.
Jedi mind tricks of the digs.
Yeah. Definitely testing the car, getting the car to go A to B every time with you and your buddy on some Mexico back road. If you can keep your nerves calm and keep still and don't get too jittery, don't let someone play starting line games with you, inching forward, bumping hard. There's a lot of people that do this type of stuff, and surprisingly it works a lot of the time. So keeping your own nerves still and steady is for sure crucial. It allows you to maintain, your car has to leave at 3,000 RPM, and you let the guy get the best of you, and you just left at 6,000 RPM, and you blew the tires off, and the race is over in the first 20 feet.
Oh man.
So there's a lot of times where keeping yourself calmed down and you just race your race, you do your thing, is the best thing to happen.
Okay, you guys gonna get one for free here. So if you're gonna throw it in, throw some of those Jedi mind tricks, what will be the single most effective tactic?
There's so many that go into that whole thing. It just depends on if you want to fight a guy or not. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do to really play mind tricks.
Like blow him a kiss, or
man, there's definitely a lot of things. You could say some things before the race even happens, and
busting out the urban vocabulary.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things. There's a lot of people that they'll hazard light other people and tell them, I'm going to hazard light you. You better not lose. Or that's kind of like just a slap in the face at the track or on the Mexico streets hazard lighting, or if you've seen some of my videos, waving at somebody, Travis, and so forth. So there's definitely a lot of things that can go into that as playing, bump in, stage in games, and that even happens at the track. There's a lot of stage games that go on at the track.
Huh. So you'd say that this like, I guess list of maybe like 5, I don't know if there's 5 things or not, but are pretty essential to like just beginners that want to dig. And
anyone who goes out and buys a new Mustang, those that we just listed off are going to be very beneficial, and a lot of that stuff even happens with Camaros and Challengers and Chargers. Those are just kind of some general basic ideas about what you want to try to do.
Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us. Guys, again, if you appreciate all this information, please like this video. Please subscribe if you are new. Please check out his Facebook page, The Dream Machine.
The Cream Machine.
The Cream Machine. Why did I want to see the Dream Machine? Is there another car called the Dream Machine?
No idea.
The Cream Machine, and I'll have that link in the description below. Please check that out. Please give him a like there. And I'm on Facebook too. Like me on Facebook, but I'm not going to throw my link there. So you guys can check out his link. But if you guys are enjoying these videos, leave us a comment and let us know some of these topics that you guys want to talk about, because we have a plethora of information here to go over. It's just the ask. You ask and we will deliver.
That's right.
But guys, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
See you later.